Are you afraid that you're going to fail the Massachusetts real estate exam? Well, in this video, I'm going to go through 5 different hacks that I would use if I was taking my real estate exam again. Let's dive right into the video. My name is Chris with the Empire Real Estate YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about real estate entrepreneurship and building your real estate empire. Before we get started, I do want to offer you our free guide on how to get licensed and start your real estate career. Click the link down below to get your copy today. Did you know that 64% of people fail the real estate exam? Yeah, I know. I read that statistic and I was mind blown. That's more than half. So if that stat is true, then your odds are pretty low of passing. But in this video, I want to go through 5 different hacks you can use to increase your odds of passing the exam on the first try. So let's dive into what you need to know. Before you take the exam, you have to complete 40 hours of state-approved pre-license education. Now, if you haven't done this yet, I would highly suggest checking out Calibra Real Estate. There's an affiliate link down below with different sales and discounts. Now, this school is state-approved and you can do it online at your own convenience. So I highly suggest you check it out if you're looking to get your pre-license classes done online. The next thing you need to know is that you must get a 70% score or higher in order to pass your real estate exam. Some states have a higher requirement, but in Massachusetts, it's 70%. Now let's dive into the 5 hacks you need to follow in order to pass your exam. The very first one is time blocking. So time blocking is a very useful strategy when you're looking to compress a lot of your time and you're looking to get a lot done in a short period of time. Now, what I would suggest doing is time blocking for 2 weeks. And why I say 2 weeks is because you don't want to make this process so long that you procrastinate and never take your exam. There's so many people that I talk to that take their pre-license education classes and then they never take their exam because they just sit and procrastinate because they don't want to go fail the exam. Now, you do want to study, you do want to be prepared, but you don't want to procrastinate and never do it because then all this is kind of pointless, and I highly suggest you don't do that. So here's what I would do. I would time block 2 weeks, 14 days, and then I would do study time 5 days a week out of those 14 days, and I would do it 2 hours per day. Now, you might be wondering like, hey, this doesn't sound like this is enough time to study. But it is, because you're going to be studying in a very intense way and you're going to be cramming all this information in and really giving yourself a lot of time to retain that information. Because if you do it too much, if you study 6, 7, 8 hours a day, you're going to burn yourself out and you're probably not going to retain a lot of that information, and that's why people fail. They do it the wrong way. They don't time block, they don't time manage, and they don't give themselves enough time to really retain that information over a long enough span. So that's the schedule I would use to pass the exam. Let's go into step number 2. Hack number 2 is all about increasing your odds with study tools. So if reading the textbook is just way too boring for you, I get it. I went through that same thing. I couldn't sit there and read the textbook anymore, so I had to find another way. So what I did is I looked online for different ways to study and really make this a little more interactive and fun so I could retain the information better. The first tool that I found was simple flashcards. Now, if you're on a budget, this might be the perfect route to go, especially if you have a study buddy or a friend that's willing to go through these flashcards with you and quiz you. So flashcards can be an excellent way to get started. Now, if you want something a little more advanced that you can do on your own, that you don't have to really depend on other people for, I would highly suggest checking out Prep Agent. Prep Agent is a test-like simulation tool that's specifically for real estate agents to pass their real estate exam. So I used Prep Agent when I passed my exam, and it was a tremendous tool. So what you do is you go on, they give you test-like simulations, and they quiz you, and then once you get the question wrong, it will actually give you an explanation as to why you answered that wrong, and it will also give you feedback on demand. So the feedback loop is really, really quick, and this allows you to really study a lot quicker and retain a lot more information. So if you want to check them out, there is an affiliate link down below for Prep Agent where you can check out their pricing and see if it's something that's going to be a good fit for you. Last tool I want to tell you about is CompuCram. Now, CompuCram is cool because their tool actually will identify what points you're weak at, and it will help you study for them. So one big thing with the real estate test is there's a lot of different topics on it. And with the real estate exam, you might be really good in one topic, but you might completely fail at another topic. So for example, there's a math portion of the exam, there's a law portion of the exam, there's vocabulary portions of the exam. So you want to be able to identify what portions of the exam that you're really not that strong in, and CompuCram can help you do this, and it can help you become stronger in those areas, which will give you a much higher chance of passing the exam. So if you want to check them out, there is an affiliate link down below for CompuCram as well. Hack number 3 is starting your day right. The first thing I would suggest doing is start the day right by keeping this a secret. On exam day, don't go tell everybody you're about to go take your exam. It's gonna add a lot of stress that you don't need, because this is a stressful time. You're probably wondering if you're gonna fail, and you don't need all that added pressure of having to go tell everybody that you failed the exam. So I would highly suggest keeping it a secret, and then when you do pass the exam, go celebrate, tell everybody, and have a good time. Next part about starting your day right is eating a balanced breakfast. So it's important to get the right nutrition in so that you perform the right way. You want to be mentally sharp and mentally prepared, so starting your day out with a great breakfast can be a great way to give yourself a higher chance of passing the exam. Last but not least, start your day right, de-stress and relax. So don't go into the testing center all nerved up, all stressed out, because it's going to decrease your chances of passing, and that's not what we want to do. Hack number 4 is focusing on the easy questions first. So when you get into the testing center, it's important to have some quick wins. What I would suggest you do is focus on those easy questions first, answer all of them quick, and then anything that you have questions about or you're not sure about, I would suggest skipping over those questions. And then once you complete all the easy ones, circle back and really focus on the ones that you're not sure about. This will help you build a lot of confidence. Then, once you get back to those questions, if you still don't know the answers to them after rereading them a couple times, I would use the process of elimination technique. Now, the way this works is you want to go through each question and look at all the answers. And then the ones that absolutely do not make sense, I would not cross them out, but I would eliminate those, and then I would essentially pick the ones that make the most sense. You can usually get down to 1 or 2 answers, and then from there, it's gonna give you a much higher odds of selecting the right one. Hack number 5 is some quick mistakes to avoid at the testing center. The first one is do not rush through the exam. As I mentioned before, you have plenty of time to complete the exam, so don't rush through it. The majority of people finish the exam early, and if you rush, you're gonna decrease your odds of passing. The next mistake to avoid is not reading each question multiple times. These questions can be a little tricky, and that's why I prefer to use some of these testing tools, because they are designed in a way to be a little trickier. And they don't do this in a malicious way. They're not trying to make you fail, but they do want to make sure that you understand the concepts and you understand the material, because if you don't, they don't want to give you a license. So they put these questions in a tricky way where 1 or 2 of the answers could be correct, and you have to really understand the concepts to be able to answer them right. So make sure you reread each question multiple times to make sure you're really understanding what they're asking before you submit your answer. The last mistake is not proofreading the test before you submit it. So I can't tell you how many people go through this exam, they miss questions because they didn't proofread it, and then they get marked wrong anyway. Make sure you answer every single question, even if you're not 100% sure of what the answer is, because if you don't answer it, it's gonna get marked wrong anyway. So proofread your exam before you turn it in. So drop it in the comment section below. Did you pass your real estate exam? I definitely want to hear from you. And before we leave, I do want to tell you about our new agent support group on Facebook, so it will help you with your new journey. And if you have questions about getting started, be sure to check that out. Thanks for tuning in, and you have an awesome day.